Pregame.com.
NCAA tournament starts on Tuesday. We got a pick. RJ Bell here at the Pregame.com studios, just off the Vegas Strip. Kansas State, Wake Forest, tipping off the entire NCAA tournament. Tuesday action. Brad Powers, who do you like and why?
I like Kansas State in this one in a pick'em game, RJ, but let's talk about their opponent first, Wake Forest. I think Wake Forest is overrated. Hear me out first. Public loves offense, especially this time of the year when the public's getting more and more involved as far as the NCAA tournament goes. And what they're going to see is a top 10 offense that Wake Forest has, but I think they're going to overlook the fact that Wake Forest has a very poor defense. In fact, if you look at every single of all the top 11 seeds in this NCAA tournament, Wake Forest has the worst defense out of anyone. They allow 78 points per game. That's actually number 299 in the country, and I think it pays to be contrarian this time of year. You add it up, I think the lack of defense for Wake Forest is going to cost them. That's why we're on Kansas State.
Yeah, you said two very interesting things. One is the idea that the public is more involved in March Madness. The more the public's involved, the more their biases are built into the line. What's a known bias of the public? Football, sexy, we talk about in football. Basketball, sexy in basketball is offense, right? They love the three-pointers, the slam dunks. And whenever you have a team that's especially good on offense versus a team that's better on defense, you often, especially when there's a lot of public action, you can find value.
You can, and you can also find value because public, let's be honest, they didn't watch a lot of Wake Forest Kansas State games, so they're going to look for something that...
I didn't either, by the way.
They're going to look for something that they're familiar with. And what are they going to see? Who is Wake Forest's head coach? Danny Manning, the guy that ran as a player the national championship for Kansas. You remember?
Danny and the Miracles.
Yes, you remember it well. I think you were...
I was very young, but I was betting it.
All right,
I can't lie.
And they're also going to see the best player in this game, and it's Wake Forest's John Collins. 19 points per game, again, offense, 10 rebounds per game. Kansas State doesn't have that flashy name brand, but I think there's value being contrarian to that thought process.
Okay, I love the way Vegas guys, the best professionals, start with the power rating. Then that tells you the core of how good these teams are. Then you build in circumstances, matchups, situations. Let's start with the power ratings. You represent pregame both college football and college basketball with your power ratings. How do you get this matchup rated?
Both in my top 40, and believe it or not, Wake Forest slightly ahead of Kansas State.
So the team you're picking to lose ahead.
Exactly, but only by a half a point. And you hit the nail on the head when you add in the matchups, the situation, the technicals, all favor Kansas State in this matchup. When you add all them in, Kansas State should be the favorite in this one.
All right, number two factor.
Number two factor, let's talk about Kansas State being the more balanced team in this one. Top 50 offense, top 50 defense, less variance between and disparity between their offense and defense compared to a Wake Forest team that's all offense, no defense. I think that well-balanced means that they're more consistent, and I've seen it all year, and it also means that they're a more trustworthy team in a pick'em game.
So tournament basketball is just plain different. What is it in the modern era, 2017, that you look for in a tournament team that's going to probably play better? Some teams play a little bit better than the regular season. Some teams play worse. What have you identified as the key factors?
It's not just offense. It's not just defense. It's both. You look at the 13 of the last...
That balance.
You got to have the balance. 13 of the last 14 national champs have had both a top 20 offense and a top 20 defense as far as efficiency ratings.
Wow, so no matter how good you are on one side, you can't even be out of the top 20 on the other to win all 6 games.
With the exception of Connecticut.
One time. And they were the only non-top 4 seed in the last 28 years to win it. So that was an upset all around.
A huge outlier.
What year was that?
2013? Yeah, I think 13.
I hated when my streak got broken. Instead of saying 26 straight years, I had to say now it's 27 out of 28. Let's make it official.
Yeah, let's make this one official. We're taking Kansas State in a pick'em game, but their opponent, Wake Forest, is overrated because of a very poor defense. Public prefers offense. They're going to overlook the fact that Wake Forest has the worst defense out of any team in the top 11 as far as the seeds go, and plus Kansas State is the more balanced team. Less variance between their offense and defense means they're more consistent, more trustworthy in this matchup. Kansas State in a pick'em game is your pick, and look for them in advance. More videos at pregame.com.